What are you up to? How could I possibly know? Welcome to Monkey Boys Toys. You know who I am, and you know that this is the sofa. Thanks for joining me again. Here's a book about horses to look at. So this week I would like to document, celebratorily, a recent addition to my collection, a mintish and affordable example of which I have been waiting to cross my path for over 2 years. You could say that this is something of a holy grail item. No, Monkey Boy, you could not say that. We've been over this once already. Link in description. When will you learn? You know this item exists. It is not particularly rare. You just happen to have been pursuing one for some time, and it has, up until this point, eluded you. Fuck off. I will not. The term you should be using is white whale. Well, that was rather self-righteous and,
Yes,
and supercilious. Thank you. Please continue.
idiot.
Okay, so this white whale
Thank you.
is an action figure from Remco's Karate Kid toy line, and it's a line of which I am very fond.
Take that, you penis.
You win!
So before I reveal the figure, as if I hadn't already done so in the thumbnail, I'd like to spend some time talking about the figures in the line and take a look at those I have so far been lucky enough to collect. So let me remove the book about horses.
Book about horses.
And we can begin.
Fight!
Remco's Karate Kid line launched in 1986 in a very late attempt to make some money from the more popular than anticipated movie of the same name, released 2 years earlier in 1984, because that's how numbers work. Now, as it happens, this coincided with the release of the second movie, and the toy line features characters from both movies. The Remco line, featuring 18 figures and 3 playsets, was released throughout 1986, and that's all she wrote. Many of the figure moulds were reused from Remco's 1984 toy line Secret of the Ninja, although Remco really raised the bar when it came to the action features. The Karate Kid figures were unique in that each had 3 separate spring-loaded action features: a twist, a chop, and a kick. Now, the chop was replaced by a kind of upward thrust for some of the tail end figures. Now, this tri-action setup was not being offered by other action figures at the time, and although the associated production cost made for a higher price point than similar figures of this scale, it really helped Remco's product stand out from the crowd and make an impact in the toy aisle.
Take that, you penis.
You win!
In the range of 18 figures, there were only 6 characters, well, 7 if you include the referee, but fuck him. Now, unusually for a toy line, there was a significant imbalance of protagonist and antagonist characters, although this was of course largely determined by the source material. Now, of the 6 main characters that were featured in the line, 2 were heroic, leaving 4 villains for them to deal with. The 2 heroes were of course Daniel LaRusso, the Karate Kid himself, and his mentor and sensei, Mr. Miyagi. The antagonistic behaviour was provided in the form of arrogant wanker Johnny Lawrence, his bullying sensei John Kreese, and from the second movie, arrogant wanker Chozen Taguchi and his uncle Sato. Each character was offered multiple times with variations of clothing colour and accessories. Daniel was given 4 versions, Miyagi, Johnny and Kreese were given 3 figures each, and Sato and Chozen each had 2 versions. The referee had 1 version, and fuck him.
Take that, you penis.
You win!
If you'd like some more information on the figures and their accessories and would like to see all the colour and style variations, I would highly recommend heading over to the Vintage Toy Rush channel, where the lovely Dave has compiled an accurate and easy to follow overview of the full range of figures, and this should be your go-to checklist if you'd like to collect this line yourself. Now, it was in fact this video that reignited my enthusiasm for the line, and I've used it for reference on many occasions. Everything you need in under 5 minutes. So there's a link to Dave's video in the description, and I would encourage you to check it out. Okay, now it's time for the show and tell. I'd like to show you the figures I currently own, including the Holy Grail, the white whale that I recently found. So with the magic of editing, here is my modest collection of Karate Kid figures. Skeletor, what are you doing there? Being cool. Right, let's just zoom in a bit so we can see the figures a little better. Now you will notice immediately that I have 2 versions of this Daniel figure. The one to your left I've had for a few years, and it's actually my favourite variation of the figure. The one you see in this display case was actually and spectacularly given to me by the tremendous retro toy guy Sai, along with this version of Kreese. Now these are both from Simon's childhood collection, and they are so minty they make my eyes cold. The decal prints on the soft goods are notoriously difficult to find unfaded and unworn, and Simon's examples here are as crisp as you could hope to find. Absolutely fantastic. Simon also gifted me Crease's breakaway wall accessory and, heroically, Daniel's breakaway ice accessory, which is not only my favourite accessory in the line, but my favourite action figure accessory full stop. So thanks again, Si, I love these. So here and here I have the two versions of Chosen, and here is a distressingly half-naked Crease with purple pants. If I can find his grey karate gi somewhere on this godforsaken earth, I will buy it, unless I first find a complete example at an acceptable price. And now that brings me on to the most recent addition to my collection, and as I said at the outset of the video, it's one that I've been actively hunting for well over 2 years. It's my second favourite figure in the line after Red Gi Daniel, and it is Green Gi Johnny. I really don't like saying gi. Now let's just try and get that to focus. There we go. Now, I'm incredibly pleased to finally own this. Although I've only pursued it in recent years, I've in fact wanted one since about 1987. Now, the figure itself is not particularly difficult to find, although one in this condition is a bit more of a challenge, but it's the soft goods that are such a twat. Now, this item fades easily, and like most of this line's soft goods, is usually in another dimension, having been inexplicably removed and subsequently lost by an idiot. Now, unfortunately, this one's chest emblems have worn off, presumably because somebody looked at it or thought about touching it. But aside from that, it's in great condition, and the figure itself is in near perfect shape. So, yeah, really happy to finally get this guy into the collection. So let's add him to the lineup. Let's stand him in front of Chosen there. Stand up, you twit. There we go. Now, I had told myself that once I had Johnny Greenrobe, I would stop collecting these, as I would then have a reasonable representation of the line. Well, that lasted about 5 minutes, and I then watched VTR's video again, link in description, at which point everything went tits up, my resolution caved in, and I decided to add another 5 figures to my wish list. I am a menace to my own destiny, and I must be stopped. Now, distressingly, I now feel I must at least gather into the nest Miyagi Pink Robe, the original Daniel White Robe, Sato Bronze Robe, and then possibly Daniel Gold Robe, Johnny Black Robe, and of course the missing grey robe from Crease Purple Pants. I know they aren't called robes, but I really don't enjoy saying gi. Anyway, I expect you've had enough of me by now, if not 15 minutes ago, so let's pull the ripcord and drift slowly back to Earth. And here we are, at the arse end of the video. What do you think of Remco's Karate Kid line? Did you have any of the figures and playsets? And if so, which were your favourites? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for joining me this week. I hope you were entertained to some degree. And if not, well, I can't really do anything about it now. Don't forget to dive into the video description to find the link to VTR's Karate Kid video, or perhaps amuse yourself by clicking the link to my GRAIL versus Whale video. It's quite good fun, apparently. Now, before you go, please leave a directional thumb. Either one will do, the algorithm doesn't care. Do share the video or the channel with heroes and villains alike, and if you are not yet subscribed to this nonsense, please attend to that as a matter of utmost importance. What's that you say? What am I going to do now? Well, I'm going to make like a shepherd and get the flock out of here. See you next time.
Take that, you penis!
You win!